Hello, students of class 10. We are now into the last chapter of the syllabus, that is Lifelines of National Economy. So, this is a chapter which is very easy to understand, and deals with our transport communication system. Transport and communication system are indeed the lifelines for the movement of people, movement of goods, not only within the country but also all over the world. Throughout our life, we take advantage of certain services, take advantage of certain goods which are not produced in our area, but we get them because they are transported in our area, and that is possible only with the help of these lifelines of national economy. Goods and services, they move from their location, from where there is produced, to the demand location. Goods and services from their supply location move to the demand location, and it is only possible with the help of this transport and communication system. There are some people who are engaged in this sector, and it is a part of the tertiary sector of our country. There are some people who greatly help us in getting the goods and services, and they are provided to the consumers. Now, these people are the traders who arrange for bringing the products from their production center, from their supply center, to the market or to the demand place. The goods are produced and they are moved with the help of transportation system, and it is a group of people who are traders who are also a part of this system, because they arrange for bringing the goods from their processing center, from their supply center, to the demand center. So, we always say that the country's development depends not only the fast movement of these different goods and services, but also upon the trading system. So, the economy's development depends upon the efficient and fast movement of transportation. Faster the movement, more efficient will be the supply of different goods and services from their production center to the market or to the consumers. They are indeed the lifelines of economy. Now, the movement of goods and services spreads across land, water, and air. Over the land, we have roadways, railways, and pipelines. Over the water, we have inland, that is within the country, where the rivers are most importantly used as an inland means of transportation system, and overseas, which takes place with the help of large ships, large ocean going vessels. And in case of air transport, also we have the domestic airlines and the international airways. So, in case of domestic airways, it is run under the public sector undertaking, as well as there are many private airlines which operate in our country. And the international airways carries both goods as well as people to countries across our border. So, all this has been achieved in the recent years. We have seen that there is a particularly increase, particularly a spurt in this sector, and it is possible with the help of science and technology. Sitting in our homes, We can easily book tickets of railways, roadways, airways. We do not have to travel. It has expanded, the transportation system has expanded in such a way that the entire world seems to be reachable. Any corner of the world can be reached easily, and so we use the term global village in recent years. And the transportation system has developed mainly because of the development of this space communication system, space technology, science and technology. Just imagine that if we are in a train, we are traveling in a train, and another train comes on the same track, then what kind of disaster can happen? Or suppose two planes are moving in opposite direction and heading right towards each other. How is their movement controlled? So it is only possible with the help of science and technology. And this science and technology is also important, is also playing a equally important role in developing the communication system. So transport, communication and trade are complementary to each other. That means all of them are supporting each other. All of them are considered the sides of the same coin. That is transport communication on one hand and trade on the other hand. We all know that our country, India, is having a lot of diversity in our size, in the culture, in the language. We have a lot of socio-cultural variation in different parts of the country. We have different means of transportation system. At the same time, we have different means of communication system. Radio, television, cinema, newspapers, all these are the different means by which we connect with the people throughout the country. Our traders are also playing a very important role. They not only satisfies the demand of the consumers at the local level, but we find that Indian goods have also captured in the international market. We have also made our mark in the international market, and this has greatly enriched the life of the traders, and it has helped them to buy the amenities and facilities for the comfort of life. That is, the money that is earned by trading, especially at the international level, the money that our traders earn with the help of export trade, that money has helped the traders to improve their financial condition. It has helped them to buy the comforts of life. The money that they earn, with the help of that, they can provide themselves different things so that they enjoy a comfortable life. So, lifelines of economy is very, very important if a country wants to progress and develop further. If a country wants to earn foreign exchange, if a country wants to have and maintain good relations with other countries, lifelines of a country are very much important and play a dominant role in this manner. Now, we will study about the different means of transportation first, and then to different means of communication, and then in the last part we will deal with international trade. So first with different means of transport, and in this we will study the roadways first. So India is a country which enjoys a very important position in terms of road network. We have the largest network of roads in the world, and the length of road network is increasing every year. So I must not specify the length because so much of construction work is going on throughout the country that the remotest corners of the countries are getting connected every single day. And so our country is noted for having the largest road network. Now this road network has certain advantage over the railways. Though we say that travel by railways is quite comfortable, but roadways has certain advantages over the railways too. The first advantage is construction cost of road is much lower than that of railways, because we do not need any kind of metal tracks for roadways. In case of railways, metal tracks, these metallic tracks are laid down. Iron and steel tracks are laid down, and this involves lot of cost. So cost of construction of road is much less than laying down of railway lines. Secondly, roads can easily cover undulating topography, dissected and undulating topography. Dissected means cut by rivers. And undulating topography is a very common feature in the plateau area. So road can easily cover the plateau areas. It can easily cover the areas where there are rivers. In case of our railways, we need to construct a strong bridge over the rivers, and so it becomes very costly. In fact, every river is not having bridges, suitable places where it can be crossed. So roads can be easily used to cover such distances. Thirdly, the mountainous slopes are best covered with the help of roadways. There are very few railway stations in our mountainous area. There are very few railway tracks in the country, in the mountainous area. I think we have in Darjeeling, we have in Shimla, we have in Uti. But in a large scale, we are not having railway tracks in the mountainous areas. It is the roads which cover the entire distance. Fourthly, road transportation is very much economical if few persons are moving and over short distances. We can hire a car, we can move by bus, that is, we can use any means of transportation that suits our pocket. If one can afford, if one is a rich person, he can easily buy a luxury car and he can move with the help of a car. But if a person does not have sufficient money, then the person can easily move in a bus. So road transportation is quite economical when few persons are moving over short distances. Fifthly, road transportation provides door-to-door service, especially if one is shifting or moving to some other place, then the cost of loading and unloading is much lower. Suppose if a person is shifting by means of railways, then that means that the goods have to be loaded on a truck first, then unloaded at the railway station, then again loaded in the railway wagons. And when the train reaches the destination, again all the goods have to be unloaded and shifted to some trucks, and then the goods is again unloaded. So there are so many labor costs involved in loading and unloading. And we have to take the help of the road transshipment. We have to take the help of the roadways. But if we take the help of only roadways, then only it will involve the labor cost of loading once in the point from where we are shifting and unloading at the destination point. So only twice the labor cost, and only one means of transportation, that is the roadways. So especially when we are shifting, in order to reduce the loading and unloading cost, we must prefer the roadways. It is cheaper. And finally, it acts as a support to other means of transportation. Whether we are traveling by airways, we will have to use the roadways to reaching the airport. If we are traveling by railways, we will have to use the roadways to reach the railway station, because the trains does not start from our doorstep. So whether we use the waterways or roadways or waterways or airways or railways, we always have to use the roadways as one of the most important means of transportation. So roadways are having a lot of advantages over the railways. Its construction cost is cheaper. It can be used over the plateau areas, over the rivers. In the mountainous areas also, the roadways are the best means of transportation. It is economical when a less number of people are moving, or when a small amount of goods are moving over smaller distances. It is also very important means of transportation, useful means of transportation in case of shifting from one place to another. And finally, it is always the main means of transportation, main support means of transportation to other means of transportation. So although we are having different means of transportation in the country, but roadways is the best means of transportation above all. In our country, India, we have 6 classes of roadways, and all of them are very important, and all of them have their different road length. So the first category is the superhighway. Superhighways are very important, and it is always meant for the fast movement of goods and services. Now in our country, basically there are 3 superhighways. One is the Golden Quadrilateral that connects the metropolitan cities, the 4 metropolitan cities, from our Delhi to Mumbai, from Mumbai to Chennai, from Chennai to Kolkata, and from Kolkata to Delhi. This is the Golden Quadrilateral and connects the 4 metropolitan centers. The second one is the East-West Corridor. The East-West Corridor connects Silchar in Assam to Porbandar in Gujarat, cutting right across our country from the easternmost point to the westernmost point. And then we have another one which connects Srinagar and runs across the entire length of the country and terminates at Kanyakumari. This is the North-South Corridor, and this Super Expressway are constructed and maintained by the National Highway Authority of India. They are all 6-lane roads, that is 3 on either sides for coming and going, and they are high speed lanes, highways meant for the movement of high speed vehicles. The second category of roadways is the national highways. The national highways connect the remotest corner of the country, and there are many national highways in the country, but still their length is considered as inadequate. These national highways are constructed and maintained by the Central Public Works Department. Our national highway NH2 is the GT road, which is popularly known as Sher Shah Suri Road. And children, it was during this time of Mughal ruler who constructed this road length. In fact, children, you will be surprised that this GT road used to connect Dhaka to Peshawar originally, because Sher Shah was an Afghan and there were many Afghan soldiers in his army. Now, these Afghan soldiers found it very difficult to reach their homes during some times in the year. But actually, these soldiers needed to reach out to their families and they found it very difficult. So at that time, both Pakistan and Bangladesh was a part of our country. So Sher Shah Suri took the initiative and constructed this road connecting Dhaka to Peshawar. But because now Bangladesh is not a part of our country, Pakistan is also not a part of our country, so we simply study that the Sher Shah Suri road connects our Kolkata to Delhi, which is NH2, National Highway 2, and NH1 is from Delhi to Amritsar. However, the longest national highway is National Highway 7, which runs between Varanasi and Kanyakumari. So we have different national highways which run across our international borders. Similarly, along our coastline, we have important national highways. For example, along the eastern coastal plain, you will find it's National Highway 5. Along the western coastal plain, you will find National Highway number 17. So in our Rajasthan, we have this National Highway 15. So different parts of the country are having national highways. So they are constructed and maintained by the Central Public Works Department. Then comes the state highways, where the state capital is connected with the district headquarters. And here the main body which is constructing and maintaining them are State Public Works Department. Then we have the district roads. The district roads connect the district headquarters with the different blocks within a district. So these roads are again constructed and maintained by Zila Parishad. Then we have the rural roads. The rural roads are very important because our agricultural products reach from the rural areas to the urban markets. But we find, especially during the rainy season, most of these roads go out of use. That's why these roads have been made metals to a large scale, and this has been done under Pradhan Mantri's Gramin Sarak Yojana. And this Kacha roads, the originally Kacha roads, has been made cemented so that they can be used for faster movement even during the rainy season. And finally, we have the border roads. The border roads are constructed and maintained by an organization known as BRO. And in fact, this is an organization which is totally maintained by the engineers under the Border Security Force, and they maintain the roads very spick and span even in the high altitudes. During the rainy season, these roads suffer from recurrent landslides, and the people walking here are doing a very much helpful work, especially they connect the remote villages in the border areas with the plain areas. The entire mountainous belt, especially along the borders of the country, are having the armed forces positioned there, and our heavy military vehicles move there with food as well as ammunition for our armed forces, and these roads needs to be maintained spick and span so that during emergency even huge cannons can move over these roads. And so the border roads play a very important role in maintaining connectivity with the plains and mountains. Even the general public living in the mountainous belt also gets the benefit, enjoys the benefit of better connectivity with the plain area. During heavy rainfall, during landslides, this organization undertakes the task of again reconstructing and maintaining if the road gets damaged during the heavy rainfall season. This border road organization was set up in 1960, and especially the main aim was to maintain connectivity in the border areas, in the areas of strategic location. And finally, we classify roads on the basis of the construction material used. So here we have the metal road and the unmetal road. The metal road are made of cement or bitumen of coal. In Hindi, you call it alcatra. So it is made of cement concrete or it is made of bitumen of coal. And this can be used throughout the years, whereas the unmetal road go out of season during the rainy season. Kacha roads cannot be used during the rainy season. Now next, coming to road density, the road length of our country per 100 square kilometer of area is known as density of roads. Now density of roads in our country varies from one part to the other. The flat plain area has the maximum concentration of road density, whereas the areas which are dissected by rivers, areas where there is slopes, we find the density is much less. The national average is 125 kilometer, whereas in Jammu Kashmir it is 10.04 kilometer. In Uttar Pradesh it is 532.27 kilometers. So this national average varies from state to state. The state average varies, states varies, the road density in different states varies from one place to another depending upon the physiographic condition. Road transported faces certain problems. The most important problem is that we have a huge population and along with that huge number of vehicles. So the road network is inadequate. On top of that, a huge stretch or length of roads are also unmetalled, and during the rainy season this unmetalled road, especially which lies in the rural areas, cannot be used. So road network is inadequate, and along with that the unmetalled road increases the problem of movement or transportation. Similarly, the number of national highways or the length of national highways is also quite inadequate. At many places in the urban areas, in the city areas, the roads are so congested because of encroachment by the you can say the hawkers or the people selling different kinds of products on the roadways. And in many cases, most of our bridges and culverts are old and narrow, and they can be highly dangerous or prone to accidents. However, we really need to increase the road density of our country, especially in the areas where there is plateau, where there is undulating, and in the mountainous belt. So the roadways are in fact the lifelines of our economy. Now in my next class, we will do the other means of transportation. Thank you, children. Please follow the video and try to understand.